So tomorrow we are going to be working on nocturne landscapes, which is just the use of a different palette basically. So the nocturne palette is more these types of colors. I'll go through like specifically what colors we're going to use, but instead of using primary colors, we kind of remove most of the warm colors in a nocturne, and it's a very cool painting. You're relying on moonlight instead of sunlight, as in most of our paintings are. The way the light hits things is totally different. The impact of value is very different. And honestly, I'm gonna bring in a whole different set of colors for you to experiment with. And then the goal is to create these moody landscapes that are not like real life necessarily, but that capture the spirit of a nocturnal, which is mysterious and witchy and maybe, dark, magical. So that's going to be our goal, is to try a whole new style of painting tomorrow. Like this nocturne. And the term nocturne comes from Whistler. He painted all these beautiful British river scenes, and a collector started calling them nocturnes. So you can see the palette is totally different. It's very, very based in cool colors. Occasionally like a moon pops up, but it's a very whole different palette. So the nocturne palette that we're going to work with, I'm going to bring in some different colors. We're going to get rid of black. Like I know growing up, if you painted a sky, or drew a sky, you used black, and you used white or yellow maybe for the light and the moon and the light source. We're going to get rid of that idea. We are going to use Play-Doh green and cerulean blue and Play-Doh blue. I don't know if that's how you say it. And purples, and my favorite combo, turquoise and alizarin red, which makes this amazing sky. So we're going to play around with those. We will be using white to mix, because white really does make these amazing grays that are kind of like the waves of an ocean, or light hitting a tree at night. And so you'll see here in this example of me mixing with the terrible self manicure that keeps me up at night now that I see it. And so this is like turquoise and the red combos are on the left, and then the Play-Doh, I have to learn how to say that, Play-Doh green and red. So what happens is when you mix these combinations of these warmer colors, it just really reflects moonlight rather than sunlight. It's just the sunlight's really hot and moonlight is just going to be a lot cooler. So you see, as I'm mixing those two colors, I mix the turquoise and the red together, and then here's just mixing it with white. You get these amazing grays and silvers, these beautiful, and that's the green I'm mixing there. So that's the Play-Doh green with a little bit of the turquoise. And see, I know you would think that green wouldn't work, but if you look back at those Whistlers, a lot of them are in a greenish tint, and at night it kind of can look like that. So we'll play around with those. Again, you're not going to be like true to form. We're going to go for a mood more than we have in previous assignments. In fact, I'm going to ask you not even to use reference material. I want you to just think of your favorite place, one of your favorite places, or an important place to you, and what it might look like at night. This will be a lot more imagination, a lot more kind of mysticism. And so these are all these beautiful nocturne shades we're going to be able to make. And now looking back at these, you see that those colors are there, like the greenish, and the suns that are more yellow and gold instead of white. So here's showing some of these, what we can do with gold and yellow versus white. So to illuminate, the source of illumination, we'll play more with gold and various yellows instead of any, I think officially, an official nocturne, you're not supposed to use any pure white, because the range of value in a nocturne never gets that hot. It never gets that bright. So to use actual white would be kind of disingenuous to what a moonlit scene would actually look like. And a nocturne can also be something lit indoors by a moody light. I'll show you some examples of that so if you look at that, that's an illumination, and they're yellowish, the green, yellow, gold. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And here's just some eye candy of some of my favorite nocturnes. Ryder, who I'm obsessed with. Winslow Homer did amazing nocturnes. These are just amazing. And again, the greens and the yellows. Leonora Carrington, obviously, she was always doing all that. John Sloan did a lot of great, like this movie theater one's so great. And he did a lot of interior. And, you know, a lot of those painters were really excited about the new lights. Catherine Bradford does these amazing, everything in her world, I swear, seems to be lit up. If you want to you could do a nighttime swimming scene. You could just focus on a sky. You could do the waves. George O'Keeffe, you could do an abstract painting, an abstraction of a nocturne with like these George O'Keeffes, which are remarkable. Charles Birchfeld did these crazy mind on fire kind of, I don't know what they're, wild internal things that might inspire you. Again, you could be very simple. And Alex Cat, again, is kind of like George O'Keeffe, like just simplified takes on nighttime. Lois Dowd, I love, as anyone who knows, take the class for her. She's just amazing. You could do your backyard as a nocturne. Yeah, and then Peter Dwag was very famous for doing these nighttime scenes. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun experimenting. I will bring in a lot of new colors, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.